Yo, what is good, everybody? We are here today with another rendition of Content and New Crack, right? And today, we were talking about this budding rivalry. Well, not really budding, it's a full-fledged rivalry, right? Between Steph Curry and Ja Morant, and by extension, the Warriors and the Grizzlies, man. And I have a few interesting takes about this rivalry. We're gonna go through some of the history of it. We're gonna go through the stats, and I guess my hypothesis would be, is Steph Curry to Ja Morant what Chris Paul was to Steph Curry, right? With that being said, man, we're gonna get right into it with the video right after this intro. Oh, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. and bring you guys interesting content, not just on sports, but on culture, anime, news, whatever, man. If you're scatterbrained like me, and you just like to stay in the loop and stay connected, man, or somebody who has interesting takes and opinions on many different things, man, make sure you subscribe to the channel, all that shit, comment, you know the vibes, man. I guess I'll start with my premise here. Is Steph Curry to Ja Morant what Chris Paul was to Steph Curry, right? And we might say Chris Paul is no Steph Curry, right, in terms of his career or whatever. But I'm talking about more what he means to the player, right? And Ja Morant's by no means any Steph Curry yet, right? But with this rivalry between the Warriors and the Grizzlies, it reminds me a lot of the rivalry between the Warriors and the Clippers back in the day, man. The Clippers used to always be the team that eliminated the young Warriors. And then as, you know, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond came into themselves as players, right? Eventually, there was this iconic moment right here that we have on the picture where Steph Curry crossed up Chris Paul, dropped the shot, and that was pretty much the changing of the guard of point guards in the West, right? And this was an iconic moment, and you see a lot of this back and forth dueling between Steph Curry and Chris Paul back in the day. Here's some of the stats. Steph Curry won 31 out of the 25 games they played against each other. They're tied in playoff. I'm not sure if this is games. I think this is games. I don't think this is series. You see their stats are pretty similar. They're pretty close, man. Steph Curry obviously gets the edge in points. Chris Paul gets the edges in everything else, right? Rebounds, assists, steals. Steph Curry in blocks, man. They were neck and neck. The career highs, the highs are almost the same. This was a more of a rivalry than people seem. I know Steph Curry has all the rings, right? But in the early part of Steph Curry's career, Chris Paul was really the more dominant of the two. They were really little brother in them, right? And the Warriors were more like ankle biters to the Clippers. And then you compare him here to even though there's not as many games played against each other, man, the games are tied. 5-5, 3-3 the regular season. Steph Curry's got 2 playoff. I don't know if these are series or wins. I know the Warriors eliminated the Grizzlies in one playoff. Maybe the Grizzlies eliminated the Warriors in one. And then the Grizzlies knocked the Warriors out of the playoffs, knocked the Warriors out of the play in that one year. But if you come and look at the stats, it's like the same, man. It's almost the same. Steph Curry edging out in points. Ja Morant leading in everything else, tied in rebounds. The game highs against each other, almost identical. Games with better stats than the other player. Steph Curry, they're like top. I mean, it's neck and neck, man. They have the same amount of points scored against each other, same amount of games with a better game played. And Ja Morant leading in the assists, steals, and blocks. Ja Morant is more of the athletic and involved player, man. And these are the head-to-head games with the battles of being similar. But with Dennis Schroeder, there's this nice article written by BlueManHoop.com. I'm gonna read this to you because Dennis Schroeder obviously adds a extra wrinkle to this rivalry, right? With Dennis Schroeder having a history against the Warriors, right? So I'm gonna read this article. The Golden State Warriors and Memphis Grizzlies have shared a notable rivalry over the recent years, having really started in the 2021 play-in tournament before a second-round playoff series the following season. The rivalry took a step backwards when the number one villain, Dillon Brooks, left the Grizzlies for the Houston Rockets last year, but it did reignite in the aftermath of the Golden State's NBA Cup win over Memphis Grizzlies last month. Man, and it seems like these teams are always meeting at pivotal plot points in the season, right? The play-ins, the playoffs, the NBA Cup, right? Grizzlies head coach Tyler Jenkins voiced his displeasure of Draymond Green's foul over Zach Edey in the post-game press conference, only for the Warrior veteran to retaliate by labeling Jenkins a softie on his podcast in the days after. Dennis Schroeder just getting traded to the Warriors apparently adds a layer that I wasn't fully aware of, but we're going to find out now. Dennis Schroeder will only add to the Warriors-Grizzlies rivalry. Green and Dennis Schroeder will take to the floor for the first time as teammates on Thursday, hoping to halt the Golden State's poor recent form against Memphis Grizzlies team that's risen to the second in the Western Conference. But if that wasn't enough motivation for the former Defensive Player of the Year and his new Warrior teammate, they'll also be able to bond over mutual dislike of Jenkins over recent times. They got a beef with the coach. After being officially traded to the Warriors on Sunday, Schroeder will make his team debut, ironically, against the team he last faced. The 31-year-old's last game for the Brooklyn Nets came last Friday in a game that included a notable incident in the closing minutes. Ja Morant started jawing the Nets bench and head coach Joey Fernandez, leading to a mid-court altercation that also saw Schroeder have some choice words for Jenkins. Morant, Schroeder, and Jenkins all received technical fouls to close the game. The Grizzlies won 135-119. Everyone's competing. I respect it. But I don't respect if you win and then you go to the coach's face, Schroeder said of Morant after the game. That was the second and final time the Grizzlies and Nets met this season, but Schroeder now gets the opportunity to get straight back at Morant and Jenkins less than a week later with his new team. Well, obviously, we're kind of in the future from when this article was written. We've seen how that game played out, and the Grizzlies blew the Warriors out by 50 points. So that answers that question. And like I said, this is just real reminiscent of the changing of the guard that took place when the Warriors versus the Clippers, man. And I think it was that 2016 season when the Warriors really had their coming out party. Ja Morant coming back this year and leading his team to having a great season, being second in the West. I'm sure that they'll end up meeting the Warriors in the playoffs just because it's fate. It seems to be like a fated meeting, man. The Warriors and the Warriors and the Grizzlies, man. They just seem to be always on a collision course, right? And every time Steph Curry and Ja Morant play each other, you could tell they're both invested in this rivalry. And these are the things that keep these athletes alive, man. Like, especially a guy like Steph Curry and like a team like the Warriors who've won so many championships in recent years, man. I know that these rivalries are the things that gets them up out of bed in the morning. Like, through the regular season, especially in the NBA, it's really, really long, man. And you got to find motivation game to game. You got to keep the team motivated, the players motivated, the coaches motivated. And what better than like some young dogs trying to make a name at your expense, right? And man, every time Steph Curry, I'm just playing some highlights, and they just both bring their A game in every game, man. Every time Steph Curry and Ja Morant, it's must-see TV. I know this last game was pretty bad, right? The Grizzlies blew the Warriors out by 50. It doesn't look like much of a rivalry, right? And like I said, there's a change in the guard for everybody. Every dog has his day. But and as it stands, man, Steph Curry and Ja Morant, or not even just Steph Curry and Ja Morant, but the Warriors versus the Grizzlies is one of the hottest rivalries in the NBA. And I think that in order for Ja Morant to rise to the level that everybody sees him being at, man, his path is through Steph Curry. And just like Steph Curry had to go through Chris Paul as the dominant point guard in the West, right? As the best point guard in the West. I'm excited to see where this rivalry heads. I had my opinions on Ja Morant back when he was going through his whole gun thing, but like, I can't deny that NBA is better with Ja Morant in it. And I love watching his career grow and bud. And I'm a Steph Curry fan, and I love watching what his career is and watching him still strive to go above and beyond and add to his legacy, right? Let me know what you guys think, man. Do you guys think that Steph Curry is Ja Morant's Chris Paul? What do you think of the rivalry between the Grizzlies and the Warriors? Who do you like better? Who's your favorite player? Man, anything. Any of your thoughts, opinions, man, just drop them in the comments. I answer anybody in the comments, man. I love it. I love having some conversations on these sports topics, man. It always brings the comments out. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be back with more content. The vibes, man. Thanks for letting me in your hearts and minds. Peace.